mindful adventures, welcome to the channel. I think I'm just gonna do little sit down talks with you guys because I feel like that's the vibe. I feel like that's what I want to do until I obviously come up with something else, but I like this. I think this is like a conversation. It's kind of fun and I get to do little edits afterwards. Anywho, this blog post this video will be my eyes. This video will be about you're not broken, right? So let's start from the beginning, right? You were born into this planet. You were born on Earth, from your mom or a surrogate or however you came into this planet. And you were a baby. And as a baby, you needed to learn how to walk, how to talk, how to do things, how to do all kinds of stuff, simple math, right? And then of course you went to school and all of that. And then you had to figure out how to deal with your hormones. And when you got to a teenager, or maybe you didn't have to deal with all of that until you were almost 20, which good for you. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I know some people who didn't go through puberty, like really go through puberty until they were like almost 20, so everybody's story is different, right? But you had to go through all of those things, right? You had to learn all of those things. You had to experience those things so that you could become the person that you are today. And I truly believe that your soul came here with a purpose. It came here knowing exactly what it was going to go through. It came here knowing like, hey, like I want these experiences, whether how shitty you think they are or not, to define yourself, to like learn things, to gain certain skills that you can only gain as a human. Because us as people, we're creatures of duality. We are we can be very contradictory, and the world that we live on is a world of duality. We have light and day, we have life and death. Like I'm pretty sure it's like that on other planets, if you believe in that. We have, dry and wet, we got hot and cold, we those are just simple like little bits of duality, but we came here because it's a little bit slower and a little bit more simple. We're only working in a four-dimensional like world where we got, height, width, depth. Well, yeah, height, width, depth, and time. That's the fourth dimension. We've added that. Time is actually a human construct. It's not real. If you didn't know that, then now you do. I don't know if anyone needed to know that, and here on this planet, we're able to slow down. We're able to really learn and soak up the lessons, and we're really able to understand on a different level, like how to get to where we're trying to go. So our souls come here, right? They understand the assignment. We're here to learn things. We're here to do things, and we get put in these bodies. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, I believe that our souls are not only in our bodies, but also around our bodies. Like how you're able to like sense how someone else feels, or people can like sense how you feel, or how you could just tell when someone's like having an off day, or you could just tell. I mean, not just their facial expressions, but sometimes like before you even see them, you already know, like, oh, this person's going through something, or that this person is, whatever. And I believe that's because our souls, they expand, they're out, they stretch out. Like there's different, we have ties to people. Like that's why when you go through a breakup, like you really gotta work on like not thinking about that person. Especially if it was a rough breakup, especially if it was a rough situation that you needed to really step out of. Because in that way, you're like cutting a cord, like you're cutting a tie with that person, like a soul tie with that person. That person was there for you for a karmic reason. They were there to teach you a lesson. For me, in nearly all of my relationships I've had, I was taught self-worth. I was taught how to gauge my own self-worth. I was taught how to find like people who really truly care and love me and won't hurt me in the way that these other people have. And it's important to understand, like, sometimes the people who teach you lessons are your parents. Sometimes the people who teach you these hard lessons are your family members. And it's unfortunate, but sometimes that is how it is. I don't talk to my dad anymore because he's very superficial. Like all he cares about is the weather and Like, you say how you're doing, you say good, he's fine with that. Like, where's the depth? And I wasn't raised by him really either. I was raised by my mom. So I had a connection. Like, I would go visit him, and cuz court. And until I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I have my grandmother, my great grandmother, my mother's mom. I don't talk to her either. And I don't like I don't, because she disrespects me and everyone around me constantly, telling us that we're horrible people, thinking that that's going to encourage us. I'm sorry, but no, I'm good. I'm not about to deal with that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I love her. I love my dad too, but I'm not going to sit there and take that shit. And you shouldn't either. If you have someone in your life like that, like, you need to, like, find boundaries. Maybe they're willing to accommodate your boundaries, and if they're not, that's when you got to say no, enough is enough. But what I'm saying is, like, these people that teach you lessons, they also leave behind wounds. They leave behind scars, trauma. And sometimes, like I said, it's not even just your family. It could be random people. Like, so maybe someone you thought at school, maybe you had like a crush on somebody, or like there was just somebody that you saw every single day at the store or whatever, and you thought they were respectable people, and then they turn and look at you, and then they tell you the most sideways shit you've ever heard, like tell you you're a horrible person, that all you do is complain. I've had someone do that to me. I didn't admire them, but, like, I've had someone do that to me. I'm like, I don't even know you, and you're telling me I'm a horrible person? I've only met you 3 times. What are we talking about? And it wasn't like a meetup, like, hangout thing. It was like, I'm door dashing and I come to your store to pick up food and leave. There was no intimate relationship to be had. But it really got to me that day, It really, like, fucked with me. Like, it hurt. What I'm saying is, like, these interactions, these situations that you may find yourself in may leave traumas. They may leave scars behind that most people don't see unless you tell them and you open up and share with people, like, hey, this happened to me, hey, this affects me, and in those situations, right, when no one else can see them, it's even more important that you take the time to learn how to heal them, that you take the time to understand what they were trying to teach you. Yes, it's hard, right? And I know that some people, like, there's PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. PTSD, yes. And that can also come from conversations. Like, it doesn't have to be, oh, I went to war and I had to deal with these horrific things. And that type of trauma, like, specifically having to do with war, combat, maybe just being on the job if you're a police officer, firefighter, like those types of things, certain things trigger. Trauma, it triggers you and it gets you when you least expect it. And the whole thing I'm trying to say here is, like, when you're triggered, that is where the lesson comes from. That is where we learn, like, okay, this is something that reminds me of this, or somebody, or a conversation, or a specific series of events that happened. And in that trigger, while you're being triggered, yes, it's extremely hard to stop and be like, oh, where is this coming from? Because you're, like, heightened emotion. It's really deep. It's hard. It's like I don't know how to explain it. Like, whatever this is, that's what it's like. It's all up in your face. It's all like, and you're like, I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I'm trying to, like, not fucking die right now. I'm trying to, like, stay. I'm trying to stay with it, but your mind is like, because your amygdala is firing. It's like, we're in life or death. You need to run, or you need to fight, or you need to fawn, or you need to freeze. Right? Those are stress. Those are stress responses. Those are those are difficult to navigate, especially when you're in the moment, because all the emotions are coming up, all the feelings are coming up. You have to figure out, okay, how am I going to get through this, right? But when you're able to take note of like the triggers and like when they happen, what might have caused them, then you can become more aware of where your trauma comes from, right? So let's say I'm just gonna use one of my traumas. Like I'm I don't mind sharing, you know. So one of my traumas is when people start to yell at me, I start to panic. Um, and this has been like a compounding trial, like trauma from childhood all the way up until recently. Like it still gets to me. But when people start yelling, getting really loud, especially at me, and if they start making loud noises, it starts to make me panic. I will cry. I still do. I wish I didn't, but I still do. I still cry and I start to freak out because I think like, oh my God, what did I do? Oh, like what did I do to deserve this? Like what happened? Like or I think like, oh my, like how do I fix this? How do I get this person to calm down? How do I get this to subside? And sometimes like it doesn't even, they don't even have to be yelling at me. They could just be arguing around me, people I don't even know, and I start to panic. My heart starts beating fast. I start to sweat. I start to freak out. I start to like get really uncomfortable, and I need to take myself out of that situation because I start to get extra heightened. I start to get freaked out because I'm thinking to myself like I think to myself like I've done something wrong, or I'm being punished in some way, or that I'm going to get hit, like, or I'm going to get a physically abused in some way. And it is really debilitating. I've had a situation where I was delivering someone's food because I'm a DoorDasher. I was delivering someone's food, and there were these people like two buildings over. They were having a full blown argument. I mean, like I mean, top of the lungs, screaming, throwing shit at each other from a fucking porch. And I started to panic. I got in my car and drove away, and I was not able to fully calm down until about maybe 15 minutes later. Like I had to like find a quiet place to park and breathe. And this was a couple years ago. Like now I think if they were to happen it wouldn't be as bad, but I still kind of panic when people start to yell at me and get loud. Um but that's a great example of a trigger. Maybe you don't have a trigger like that. Maybe it's something a little bit more specific. Maybe it's the way someone looks at you. Maybe if someone makes a specific like a specific like remark, or if they make like a specific facial expression, it triggers a trauma because you remember like the last time that happened, so and so did X, Y, and Z, and it was very not okay, and it went against your boundaries. It hurt you. It was debilitating, and when you recognize that, when you recognize like, okay, this is the trigger and this is where it comes from, then you can take that information, you could take it to somebody if you feel like you need to go talk to somebody, because sometimes dealing with that, like sitting there thinking like, okay, because you're basically thinking about what am I afraid of, like, because it's not just like straight fear, because the trauma, what it does is it brings fear into the situation, it brings stress into the situation, um and that can be very challenging in and of itself. um and sometimes you need a safe space to be able to talk to somebody, cry it out. Maybe they have like certain techniques that you can use in order to work through that. And it's important that if you do need that help, that you go and find that help, and know that if you do go and find help, you're not weak. You're not weak. If anything, you're strong, because the people who don't go and get help, I'm not saying everybody that doesn't go and get help is weak, but I'm saying the people who know that they can't handle it on their own, and the people who know that they need to go find somebody and they choose not to, there could be a fear in that of itself. Honestly, I shouldn't even be saying that they're weak. They're not weak. They just don't know, or maybe they're not comfortable. But going on the internet, there's so many resources, there's so many people who talk about trauma. I've even talked in the blog post that drops today on Wednesday, the 30th of June. I mean, the 30th of July. Um, I talk about traumas. I talk about different types of traumas. I talk about how to help yourself, how to find help if you need it, or how to sorry, how to find help if you need it, or how to just work through it in a way that's healthy. Because when you're able to work through it in a healthy way, then you're able to really address it, and you're also able to understand it. I feel like for me personally, when I'm able to understand something and I understand where the root is, once I understand where the root is, like where it started and how it began, then it's like a solid understanding that is honestly better than me just sitting there talking to somebody about my problems. If I'm able to find the root, then I'm able to take action in order to help myself through that. And then also realize like, hey, like this specific person might bring this up in me, and I need to be aware of that, and also tell them that, hey, I don't like it when you do this, or hey, I don't like when this happens and then you react a certain way, or you do certain something to me that triggers this response in me. And that's not being weak, that's just saying like, this is my boundary. And as time goes on and you start to learn how to better cope with it, instead of shutting down, running, fighting, fawning, um then you can learn to better live your life, so that you don't have to, those are, the four things that you do. Or maybe you only freeze. Like I just shut down. That's what I do when I start to feel triggered, and like especially when it's like heavy trauma. I shut down. I don't I wasn't taught that. That's just my response. Um and I did that because I believed I was keeping myself safe by shutting down. And there's like, staying in that state, like, it's hard to move through that. It is a difficult thing to do. And when I find myself shutting down, it's not as long as it used to be. I would shut down, and I would shut down for hours. Now it's like I shut down and it's like maybe 10, 15 minutes. Um, but if I'm trying to breathe my way through it, and I'm telling myself I love myself, I'm giving myself affirmations, I'm telling myself it's okay, wiping my tears away, because I cry a lot. I'm very emotional in that way. um then I'm able to work through it even better, because then I'm giving myself something that I wish I would have gotten when I was a kid, that I wish I would have gotten when I felt a certain way, but I can give that to myself, because I am now my own adult. I'm taking care of the little girl that's in me, who doesn't know any better, and all she knows is to ball up into a ball and cry and shake and maybe scream, but like, she doesn't know what to do because she's so afraid. And it's such a debilitating feeling to have to work through. It's trauma. Trauma is one of those things you gotta, like, you have to be consistent with as well. You gotta be able to be like, hey, I recognize this in me, and I need to do something about it in order to make my life better, so that I can be myself even more. And like, one of the things about healing is, for some people, they may never be completely healed, and some traumas may never go away. And that's fine, because it's not about getting to an end destination. It's not about getting to a point where it just doesn't happen or doesn't affect you anymore. It's about getting to a point where your reaction is less. And every time it's a little bit less and a little bit, it can be less by 30 seconds, okay? Like 1 second. Like, you could be like, wow, before I used to panic for a whole hour or 3 hours, and now it's like, oh, it's only like, excuse me, it's only like 45 minutes now or something, or it's only like 2 hours now if it was 3 hours, and it's the working down part, and it doesn't even have to be that big of a jump. Like I said, it can be 30 seconds, right? I mean, I'm not saying like as soon as you're panicking, set a timer, like okay, I guess I guess if that's what you want to do, you can do that. But if most people don't, most people don't think about that when they start to panic. So like, it's hard to tell, but you just recognize like as time goes on, like, hey, like I don't react the way I used to, because I know for me, there's a lot of things like especially with like the yelling thing. I've noticed that I do not react the same way I used to anymore. Like there's a lot of things that I go through now that I like even myself like 2-3 months ago would have been like, oh my god, well, what is happening? And now I'm just like, I'll be fine. I know I'll be fine. Like it's not the end of the world, and everything's going to be just fine. Like everything's going to be okay. And when you get to that point, when you realize everything's going to be fine, you're going to be fine. You are not in any danger. But if you are in danger, get out of danger. Like if you are in danger, please get out of danger. And then we can deal with the calming down, with the soothing, with the working through traumas and taking notes of things. And again, if you need to find a safe space, like a counselor, a therapist, a friend, if they can have that space for you, but do not trauma dump. Do not just show up and be like, blah, 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 before you say, hey, do you have time to hear what I have to say? Do you have time to hear this thing? Because it's really hard on me. And I just want to like be able to talk to somebody about it. Do not just show up and just spew on your friends and family, because that is not okay. And that is disrespectful. If we're going to be honest, if you really need to talk to somebody, find a therapist if you can. Find a counselor if you can. If you maybe there's like a person that you trusted, like a teacher or a I'm sorry, there's like a bird. It's a cowbird. If you have like a teacher or somebody like that, or maybe the school counselor. I mean, you had a high school counselor you were cool with. There's all kinds of resources. Maybe you can like find somebody, like there's different types of free resources out there that are available. You can also find a hotline. Maybe you could just talk to somebody, like a crisis hotline. You should be like, hey, like I'm not, unless you are, like I'm not in danger of like hurting myself or hurting somebody else, but I just need to work through this right now because it's debilitating for me. It's something that I'm not able to fully process on my own, and they'll understand, right? That's the whole point of a hotline is to help you. Um, so if you have access to those types of things, I mean, if you're looking at this on YouTube, you have access to internet. Just saying obvious. You have on your phone, you got access to a phone. Call up that hotline. A lot of countries have hotlines nowadays. So definitely go check those things out. See what is available for you, so that when you do get to a point where you do need help, then you can go reach out and you can go see like who is available. And if you have like, you know, like a life coach or something like that, talk to them about it, because that's what they're paid for. You're paying them, right? Let's see what else we got here. Yeah. Yeah, so like finding help, like finding good quality help, or just finding help, like that doesn't make you weak. It makes you resilient. It just means that you are able to find a solution where you before weren't able to find one. And that makes you more resilient. That also, like, you gain trust and you gain a sense of self-love that goes beyond just the regular everyday, like especially if you're able to recognize, hey, I need help, right? And you can go find somebody to get help. Just like if you're moving out of your house and you got like a 4 sectional sofa, unless unless you strong man, right? Or strong woman. I'm not sexist, but I'm saying, like, unless you're doing these competitions, like you able to do the thing, like, you're gonna need help with that couch. You're gonna need help with the thing. You're gonna need help with that heavy shit. So just like with that, find help for yourself. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you resilient. It makes you know that you can depend on yourself, and that if you need help, you can go find it. Because once you're able to go look for help once, it's a lot easier to continue to look for help. That's from my own personal experiences, and from also experiencing my friends, because some of them are like, I can do it on my own. And then I'm like, can you though? And they'll ask me for help. And then next thing I know, they stop asking me for help, they start asking someone else for help. and then they start asking someone else for help, and then they start asking, and it's like we're able to like be a community. We're able to actually like come together and help each other through these difficult times, or through moving. Because I used to live in a dorm, so moving, stuff like that. Let's see what else we got on here. Yeah, this is basically everything that I wanted to say in this video. But if you want more information, or you want a more in-depth about like different types of help you can find, or different types of traumas, because maybe you're not aware of the types of traumas, because there's more than just what's on my blog, but I go through, I think it's 6 different traumas. I know I just wrote it and I'm like I don't remember. But childhood trauma, adult trauma, collective trauma, ancestral trauma, physical trauma. I think there's one more. My brain's blanking right now. And I talk about those, like where they come from, how they affect you, because collective trauma is very interesting. Like I didn't know collective trauma was a thing until recently, and I was like, oh, that's a thing. That makes a lot of sense. Um, and then ancestral trauma, same as like what is it? Ancestral, generational trauma. Ancestral generational trauma. It's the same thing. Um, it's basically trauma from like your lineage, from your people, like where you come from, that kind of thing. But and then I also talk about how to get help, and like how to get help, how to help yourself in a healthy way, because there's a healthy way to do this, and then there's a toxic way to do this, and we're trying to stay away from the toxicity, right? We already dealt with the trauma, we already dealt with that. Let's stay away from that, from getting even worse, and let's go find some healthy ways to handle it. So if you guys want to read more about that, you can find that in the description. I'll leave the blog post down there so you can go find it. And yeah, I hope you guys subscribe. I hope you guys subscribe and hit that bell so you see when I post. For right now, I'm posting once a week. And I hope you guys like this video so we can boost it, so more people can see it, more people can get some encouragement, some ideas. And so we know, you're not alone. Like, everyone's going through something, and sometimes maybe you didn't even realize that someone was going through something, but this video made you realize, like, hey, that sounds like so and so, or that sounds like I know somebody who like deals with that type of stuff, and I didn't realize it was trauma, and maybe they didn't realize it was trauma, but now we can sit here and have a conversation about it and help each other, and that's what community is. Like, that's what it's about. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you guys want to check out any of my other links, they are available on my YouTube home, and then I will also have my link tree down below, so you can just click that and you can go straight to my website, straight to any of my social medias. If you want to support me, that would be wonderful. And I just hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember, guys, you're not broken. You never were. We're returning to who we used to be. Love you.